Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. How's everyone doing? Having a quick drink? Hang on. I am very ill prepared for this live stream. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to spend loads of time getting all prepared, and I've spent the whole day kind of working on things. I found some things out and thought, I know, today is a great day to rework a load of stuff. Because that's the kind of guy I am. Leave it right to the last minute and then spend the whole day panicking trying to get everything to work. But there you go. That's how it is. So we don't have a plan. We're just going to jump on. I'll show you some stuff. But before that, I like to spend some time saying hello to you all because it's been quite a while. So hello, everyone. How are you all? How's everyone doing? Hello to Frank. Hello, Frank in Blackpool. There's a name I know. Caddock. Hello, Mr. Beatbox. Thank you for your feedback, Mr. Beatbox. I'll look into that. I don't know, because I've been upgrading to the new version, so I haven't tried an old version, so I don't know what's going on there. So I'll have a look. Mohammed Uzair. Hello. Let's talk about the Reaper. How you doing from West Tennessee? How's it going? Lip sync. Is my lip sync off? Audio out of sync. Oh, I've just set OBS up on this thing. There we go. Right, we got somewhere. Better than no live streams. That is true, Caddock. And I quite like the scruffiness of live streams. Anyway, here's DaVinci Resolve, as you know and love it. Now, this is the one thing we're changing. Now, I need to work on these a little bit more, but one of the things with MagicZoom Pro was you get one installation, you install it, you get all of the main tools, and then you get all of the presets. Some people weren't using all of the presets, so they were like, there's 20 things in there which I probably don't need, and they're just sort of getting in the way. So, it's annoying. So what we're going to do is split them up. At the moment, there's just two DRFX files. One installs the main tools. The other one installs a bunch of presets. But the plan is I will start to make custom things. So like if you do mostly tutorials, there'll be a tutorials DRFX. That'll be free. If you've bought the pro version, that'll be there. So I'm not going to charge extra for them or anything like that. And it would just be like you can customize. You can have everything installed, or you can just install the main version and then you can customize the presets if you want to. So then you don't end up with a big messy effects library of things you don't need. We will install MagicZoom. And we're good to go. Now, for those of you that currently have the Pro version, one thing you'll notice is there's way less tools. There's way less. We've got a MagicZoom Pro, double, pan, tracks, triple, inner tract, pop out, and then some saver tools. So what we used to have was like a fast one if you weren't using Magic, if you weren't using Blur. And then we had, what else did we have? And then we had like a double and a double effect. And we had an inner effect. And we had all these different things. And it was kind of a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. And part of the issue was that I was really worried about performance. Because, one person doesn't use the... If you're not going to use the effects, there's no point in having them there and slowing things down. So you do the other version, blah, 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 blah. But now it's much better. So if I grab MagicZoom Pro and put this on here, we can hit play and we'll run this. I've tested this. I'm getting quite good FPS, generally speaking. Put my overlay on. We can move this around and it's all real time. So this will just jump in straight away and pop in. If we go to the inspector, we can go in here. And hang on a minute. And we can pop in here, and then we've got all of the controls on the right-hand side. Now, the UI has kind of changed a bit. So we can put this wherever we like. We've got zoom out at the top, which used to be further down. So I've moved it up, so it's a bit easier to get hold of. We've got zoom length. We've got these buttons, so we can zoom in points and zoom out. So rather than kind of having it at the beginning, at the end, you can say, I want to zoom it here. And you just give it a click. So you can do it all on the timeline, which is just a bit nicer. So rather than having to cut the clips or use an adjustment clip, you can go, I want to zoom in there, I want to zoom out there. Happy days. And then you've got these little times over on the right-hand side as well. If you want to reset, so it's kind of mirrored, so it's just the start and the end, you can. Then we've got your pivot. Now again, pivot used to be right at the top because I figured people need the pivot, but actually you do most of your work with the little on-screen prompt. So all I've done is put some top lefts to bottom lefts, bottom right, top right, quick access things. So you can just really quickly pop into the top right-hand corner. That's if you're doing sort of tutorial-y stuff. You know, you can just shove it wherever you want. Double click to reset to the middle. Switch to multi, we'll come back to that in a second. What I will do is, this doesn't have any motion blur on it. So let's just go to deliver. 16 seconds, 265, 1080p, replace, render. This will run out at, done, 130 FPS. That was, so 4 seconds. So it's really quick. It's much, much quicker than it used to be. So you can run these out without kind of mega delays. As I say, that's kind of part of the reason I had like a fast version and a regular version, because the regular version was a bit slower. So I was like, oh, some people might want the extra 20% speed. So then we had a fast version, and I've just worked really hard to make sure that it's all in one. So you don't need to mess around now. So technically it's maybe like 5% slower than the fast version, but it's minor. It's minor. Camera Tim, not trying to speak for Alex, but their lifetime. Yeah, generally, unless it's like a brand new version, like I bin everything I've done and I start from scratch and I make like a MagicZoom anniversary edition or something, I don't know, something else, then that may be. But for all of this stuff, it's all just going to be, it's all included. Is there a best practice to update? Just literally, I name the DRFXs the same every time. So you just double click and it will overwrite the previous one. If we go back to effects, motion blur. So this is cool, right? We can just toggle that on and then we get nice motion blur. And this is, again, really quick. So it's all real time. We can move this wherever we want and we get the nice motion blur. And it's still quite quick. So if we deliver this now with motion blur on, it's slower, but I'm getting about 100-ish FPS. So it's really not bad. Excuse me. And you can toggle that on and off whenever you want. So again, no fast version this time, because with it off, it's as fast as the fast version. And then you can turn it on and you get your motion blur goodness. Then we've got zoom details and we've got our pitches and all this sort of stuff. So pitching yours is cool. I really like this. Sometimes there's a slight little delay as you toggle it on, but it's dynamic. So as you move from corner to corner, it will always kind of point into the middle. I get annoyed when you have to kind of change the pitches and mess around with all this sort of stuff. So you can just do that and you get a really nice 3D effect. And if you're using the studio version, you can also put this tilt shift on. That was there in the previous version. Again, I've just worked to make it nicer, make it kind of a bit smoother, look a bit better, a bit more efficient, all that sort of stuff. Now, the fun thing with this is if we jump over to effects, on the standard version, let's reset that, you get all of the effects. So I found myself with the old version getting annoyed because I'd use the non-effects version and I'd be like, oh, I want to use an effect now. And even though I've put the kind of the pivot in the right place and I've set my time in, and then I'd have to delete it and put the effects one on because I want an effect. So again, part of the reason I've been working so hard to make it more efficient is so at any point you go, right, ellipse, sweet. I want an ellipse with a border, hit play, and there it is. And again, working really hard to make sure that this is nice and smooth. You put this wherever you want, and then it goes. There's a new anim type for the border. So rather than having it blur in, you can have it do like this right on effect, which I really like. Bloop. You can have it as a rectangle instead if you want. And again, you can move this within the preview window to get it wherever you like. And then there's a bunch of effects. So if I want a prism blur in the middle, I'll toggle that on. We've got a prism blur. If I want like a dent effect, if I want a color, so if I wanted this to be a bit red, we can make it a bit red. And it would just pop in. And then there's a bunch of effects. These haven't changed from the old version, but we've got like a brightness for the outside. We've got a color for the outside, so you can do like a vertical gradient if you want. Prism effects, radial effects, blur effects, mosaic, which I like. I like this hexagon one. Bloop. And there you go. And there's a telly effect as well. Or you can just toggle that off and go without it if you don't want it. UI changes, performance increases, effects on all the normal, regular tools. It's kind of the big thing to make this all much more usable. I saw something in the comments. I was going to come back to it and I'll finish talking. I don't know what it was. It was about music. Someone was complaining about something, but I don't know. Can I zoom in on what's in the box like a magnifying glass? You can, Leon. That's in another tool, which we'll get to in a minute, called Inner. Thanks, Tim. I need a comparison. I've never used After Effects, so I'm the wrong man. Wrong man indeed. D Rony Truck and Drone. Log into the website, mate, and you should be able to get it. If not, email me and I'll sort you out. I know your name. I've seen you before. Hello, Mr. Willits. I think you should have access to the website. If not, give me a shout. This is 1.4. It is indeed, which is kind of wrong because I released 1.1 and then we've jumped to 1.4, but the beta was 2 and 3. I don't know. Whatever. You do need to be on DaVinci Resolve 19.1. That is one thing, because I've added what's called a switch in the background to make the motion blur work. So, yeah, you do need to be on DaVinci Resolve 19.1. But I want to show you something else. This is really cool. So I've customized all this. We'll come back to that other question in a second as well. So let's say I customize this. I don't know, let's just do an ellipse with a border over there, something like that. This used to work from the Fusion page, but I've actually got this to work now on the edit page, which I didn't even think was possible, to be honest. but it is, and it's working, and it's really cool. Will it work on 19.1.3? It will indeed. And then just install it. It's got the same name. It'll overwrite the previous one. I'll do some instructions as well for the website. I'm just behind. But if I go to save, I'll put a message on here. Works on edit, less crashy on Fusion. It works really well all day. You watch, now I'm live, it's going to poo itself. But I've set an ellipse, a border, bottom right. So I can just literally go ellipse, bottom right for future reference. And then I can hit save. Completed. You may need to restart Resolve. I didn't. You probably just saw my effects library flicker. So if I just delete that. In my effects library, there will now be a new folder, number 5, user presets, which wasn't there before. And in there's an ellipse bottom right, and I drag it on. Boom, it's good to go. So you can do this from the edit page now. So basically, the whole idea of this, of all of my tools, the two of them, Magic Animator and MagicZoom, is I kind of wanted to give you the tool so you could create your own presets, because if you download presets, the presets are great. I use presets all the time. Motion VFX, I've talked about them on the channel. My face is on their website. I do like them. But the problem is sometimes you watch someone else's video and it looks identical because you're using the same presets. So my kind of idea with this, it's limited, obviously. You can only kind of customize it so much. But the idea was you can customize it. You can tweak it. You can make your color. You can tweak all the animations, the timing, change all the different things. I've got some ideas to get some icons in here. So some like arrows and some text-based things as well. So then you can just come along and, yeah, customize it and create a bunch of your own presets, which is really cool. Someone, thank you, Tim. Tim is acting as moderator. Leon says, how long did this? Ages. It took me ages to get it going, and it's taken me way longer than expected to figure all this out. I'm not actually very good at all this. I need to make you a mod, don't I? Oh, you are a moderator. Removers, apparently. There you go. Thanks, Tim. Send me your PayPal. What was I saying? Yeah, ages. I'm not even massively great at this sort of thing, but I'm going to do that as well. Hang on a minute. There you go. Caddick's now a moderator as well, because I know and trust Caddick. Sorry, losing my train of thought. Yeah, let me show you this other thing. I can't remember who it was. Someone was asking about the full frame. Full frame. Have I got some examples on this PC? What resolution is that? Yeah, I do. I know it's my face. Hang on. There you go. So, let's zoom right in. This is quite a high resolution screenshot. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell on stream, but as you zoom into this, you're losing resolution. So this image is 3838 by 2158. This is a 1080p timeline, so it just loses a bit. On all of the plugins, you may have noticed there's this clip name at the top. So this just shows you the name of the clip that you're using. If you grab your clip from the edit pool and drag it into the clip name, I don't know if you could tell, but I can very clearly see this now looks much better. Because now if we was to jump into Fusion, this is running at the source resolution. But it's a manual thing that you have to do. So you have to drag whatever you're using from the media pool into this clip name, and then it will refresh it to use the source resolution and not the timeline resolution. Bada bing, bada boom. Hey. I always go Italian. I don't know why. I don't know. But there is a downside. There is a downside to this. And I don't think I'm on a new PC and I don't have a bunch of stuff. Oh, let's use one of these. Hang on. What's that? I don't know what it is. It's not nudes, so it'll be fine to use. And so, if I was to do the same thing, random portrait image this time and on a landscape timeline, 1080p. So we'll do the same thing, we'll drag it over, boom. And then if you zoom in, and what it's doing is it's cropping the thing, the image, and it's doing weird things. And it also it actually breaks the standard transform tools, which is why it's a workaround. It's not kind of a proper fix. It works really well if the thing you're using is the right aspect ratio. If it's not, it can do strange things. There is a bit of a way you can get around it, is by coming down to the retime and scaling and changing your scaling to be fit. One of them. Fill. But then you can't, if you're blowing it up. Now, don't get me wrong, the screenshot looks great because it's at your full resolution, but it starts to do really weird things. So if your clip is the same aspect ratio, drag and drop. If it's a bit weird, it starts to get a bit strange. Right. Let me just check on the comments, see how things are going down over there. It's all looking all right. All looking all right. Yeah, Frank, if you log in, so you should have a login for MrAlexTech.com. You should be able to go to the project page. But if not, yeah, email me and I can just send you a link directly. And if you haven't got a login, you should be able to reset. And if not, we'll figure something out. Hello, Bill. Oh, I've been meaning to reply to you, Bill, for like 9 months. I do apologise. You've just reminded me. Make a note. Hang on. Get me a pen. I haven't got a pen. Remember. Do you remember? Remember, don't worry. A place to go. A stranger to you and me. Anyway. So one of the other things. Now this isn't new, but I love this. I made this for me, essentially. But it's the way I use this all the time. And some people don't know it's there. Maybe it was my fault for not doing enough instructions on it. Now, we're only using a screenshot because it's just easy, but I got a nice screenshot here. If I grab my MagicZoom Pro put it on my adjustment clip, hit play, it zooms in. Now there's this button called Switch to Multi. And if we click that, we get a new UI appear. We've got in, middle, and out. And now the 3 buttons you need. So what I can do, I'll put my thingy down bottom left. I used my shortcut buttons. Bottom left, and we hit play. And then any point when I want to move to a different position, I'll do a cut on this adjustment clip. We click on the new adjustment clip, and then we just logically go from in, middle to out. So we click on mid, because we're now on a mid, we were on an in, and then we can just literally grab our thing and put it where we want to go. So I'm going to go up to the bottom right, and then if we hit play, we'll go bottom left for this first adjustment clip, and then in the next adjustment clip, we'll scoot over to the top right, nice and clean. We can adjust the timing, we can adjust the motion blur, we can adjust the zoom amount, we can do all that sort of stuff. Now, at any point we want to move somewhere else, we cut this new adjustment clip, we click on the new one, the one on the far right. This is another mid, so you have to make sure you click the button. So we go mid again, and it will say swapped successfully. Now let's go top left, hit play, top left. Cut, click, mid, bottom right. And then it just plays through. Now the really cool thing with this, after I released this, because this was in the last version, I had a few people say like it'd be much better if you could just do it in the inspector, like click, 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 click. But that kind of defies the point of having a timeline, right? Because I went away and I tried it and I was like, yeah, that would be cool. But actually, I think this is better, personally, because you can't go back and adjust kind of the positions once you've done this, because they're kind of stuck in stone. But what you can do is just change the timing. So you can come and move all these edit points and go, actually, I start talking about the other bit a bit sooner. So we'll just move that over and sweeten it up. And again, because that animation is basically happening at the beginning of the next adjustment clip. You just have to remember, go, right, cut, last one, out. I will bottom left it. It'll move over. And then I could either just let it sit. I could drag the adjustment clip so then it'll automatically pop out. Or if I wanted to, I could just click the button here that says zoom out point. Bidding, and it'll pop right out. Now that's how I make all of my tutorials. And have done ever since I made this. Because it's the best. It's not the best. I don't know. Someone else is probably doing some really clever things too. But for me, like, it's such a nice workflow. It just works. And it might crash every now and again, but generally speaking, it's pretty dope. Yeah, and it just kind of works. Yeah. I'm such a wordsmith. Look at my thing. It works. Hey. Italian again. Hey, you buy my thing. You look at my thingy, it doesn't work. It works, eh? So, any comments? Kada, this is going to be so helpful. Ledge. Give it a go. Let me know. Let me know how you get on. If I buy this, do I get all future updates free? You do, Leon. Yes, as I mentioned earlier. So unless I scrap everything and rebuild it from scratch and it's like a brand new thing, then I might have to sell that again. But this is all working. I plan to just update this for the foreseeable future. So yeah. All of this stuff is new. It's all free. It's all included. And I've got some more presets I want to make. Let me show you something else. So there is also, let's scroll down, there's an inner, which is all very much the same, but this now, rather than zooming in, rather than doing a punch in, you get a zoomed in thing. Someone was asking about a magnifying glass. So you put this wherever you want it. So I want to kind of zoom into that bit there. It just highlights that bit. All of the same controls. You've even got a multi on here. So if you want to keep punching around the screen with your magnifying glass, you can. You can go to effects. We can change this to an ellipse. A rectangle. We can put a border on that. We've got that nice little grow thing, which I really like. Whoop. And then you can do, let's put like the TV effect on there. Whee. And maybe like a dent in the middle. more like a magnifying glass. I suppose magnifying glass would probably work best with like a brightness tint. And I'd probably change the color to be like a dark gray. Maybe put a drop shadow on there and a bit of a dent. There you go. Something like that. You got like a cool little magnifying glass thing. You can move it around in real time. And it should render pretty quick as well. That works on save as well, of course. Then there's some others. We've got a double. So obviously I've shown you that multi-zoom workflow thing, which I really like. Some people don't want that. They just literally want to go to 2 points or 3 because there's a double and a triple. This is the double. You've just got 2 pivot points and on screen. Like, it can sometimes be hard to see because you can't change the bloody color of them. They're always green. But anyway, you work from left to right. You put this over here and this over here. Excuse me, burping. And then if I hit play, it's going to punch into this one and then whip over to that one. Now again, hotkeys, buttons on the right-hand side. So there's a zoom in point and a zoom out point. So if I don't want it to zoom in at the beginning, I can say zoom in now. And then I get my times appear here. So it's going to zoom in at 1 second and 4 frames. It's going to come out at, well, that's actually not, that's 400th of a second, not frames. You get the idea. So it'll punch in. And then down here, you've got time to second. So it's whipped over, but actually I want it to go now. So you just hit the button wherever you are on the playhead, sort of on the timeline, and that's the time it will move to the second position. And if you want that to take longer, I can increase the speed. So now that's going to be like a 4-second movement. And we can also come along and change the easing. So we can change the animation type. And then if we want to, we can put blur on it as well. Because the blur we're using affects everything. It's probably going to be too long to really see. Let's bring it down. It's a bit heavy, but we can we can use the adjustment clip there as well. Adjustment clip. Bloody hell. Motion blur. We've got triple, which is exactly the same, but you get 3 points. So you can put all 3 where you want. You get the pivot points over on the right-hand side, and then you get a time to second and a time to third button. Makes sense. You've also then got a pan, which, very similar, you get 2 points, but then rather than saying I want to move here, it will just slowly move from point 1 to point 2 over the duration of the clip. Now this is a really cool one. I use this actually quite a lot. So if I was to go up there and up there, I've gone farmer now, I've gone Yorkshire. We'll go over there and we can put pitch on. So I'll give this a bit of a pitchy-roo. And we can put tilt on, so we get tilt shift. Up. We zoom into this point, we've got our tilt shift macro kind of pitchy effect. And then it will swing over. Because the pitch and yaw is all dynamic, it will always look at the center. So you can do really cool effects really quick. Just like that. Camera Tim, how many zoom points can you make? Technically, you could make more, I think. 3's the easiest. Well, 1's the easiest. None's the easiest. 3, so you've got a start, a middle, and an end. So 3 actually makes loads of sense. When you kind of, how can I describe this? You basically do a distance from 0 to 1, and then you go from 1 to 0, and you just move your, so basically you go start to end, so you move to that position, and then you just move the start somewhere else, and then you go back, and then you can move the end, and then you go back. So basically you're just doing a 0 to 1, back and forth, and then when you're at 1, so you're at the 1 pivot point, you move the 0 pivot point somewhere else. And then when you go back to the 0 pivot point, you move your 1 pivot point somewhere else in the background. And that's all that's happening. So technically you could just do that forever, but the timing of it and the back and forth of it would be a bit weird. But you could. But I like that adjustment clip so you can see it on the timeline, cut, move it, adjust the timing. Off you go. I haven't tried this on this clip, so let's see how this works. Make this nice and short. So there is a tracker. There's an inner tracker, or there's a regular tracker. Actually, let's do the inner one because it looks a bit nicer. So we go tracker. This again works from the edit page. We can enable the tracker. We get a little tracker. We plunk it on a little person down there. And then we track forward. And it'll pop up in the inspector. Tracking my little lemming. There you go. Done. Actually quite quick. And then if we hit play, we get my little pop in. And it will track. And then again, we could go like border. Let's put something crazy so it's nice and obvious. We can actually see what's going on. There you go. We can blur everything out. And it's tracking and it's popping out in. And there you go. Now there's a regular version of that as well. And then the last tool is a pop out. Now, pop out isn't perfect. It's better than it was. It's one of those ones I kind of forget about, and at the end I'm like, oh, I need to fix this and make it good. And sometimes I do, and other times I don't make it as good. It's not bad. It's better than it was. There's a few things that fall over, but it's pretty good. Let me show you. You have to respect my honesty. That's what I'm going for. Terrible salesman, but there you go. So as you hit play, initially, you've got two markers. You've got this circle, and then you've got this cross. And basically, you put the circle on the thing you want to pop out. So I want that tree to pop out, and I want that tree to appear over there. And then that's it. Hit play. And you can make the mask smaller or bigger. If we go to effects, you can make that an ellipse. A rectangle. You can change the size. This is good for tutorials again. And again, same as always, we can go like, there's a few things in here. We can do a grow on the border. So then it pops up. There's also this button, which is only here on pop-in, which is mask, source, and mask only. So at the moment, we're only getting the border around the mask. But if we want the source as well, we can. So then it will show you the point that's being pinpointed, and then you've got the actual thing that's showing. And again, if we put like let's put a blur on there. You can see that point, and it's being expanded. It's making bigger over here. Now, there's also these two buttons. There's a scale mask and retain mask. So by default, it's on retain, which basically means if I zoom in or out, that's staying the same. So our source stays the same. So it's not technically accurate, but it kind of looks good. So you can say that's always going to be the same size. But if you go scale mask, I quite like this. So as you zoom in, the scale box gets smaller, and as you zoom out, it gets bigger. And if we scale up, we scale down. So basically, it's always accurate. So the more we zoom in, the smaller my scale box gets. So it always actually lines up. So exactly what you're seeing in this box is exactly what you're getting from this box, regardless of the zoom amount, because it will adjust for you. And actually, yeah, I've never thought about that. That could be good for thumbnails. So take a quick screenshot in here. Let's try it. Hang on. File, export. Current frame is still. Desktop. What time is that? It? Yeah, that's it. There you go. Boom. Yeah, that's a good idea. I never thought about that. Go away. I don't want to turn it into a puppy. Thank you. So there you go. How are we all? Let me have a quick look at the comments. Let me check the feed, make sure it's all working. Everyone's good. Everyone's happy. I will say, I always recommend people try the free version before they buy anything. I always do free versions for that reason. I never want people to spend any money, kind of to waste any money. So there's always going to be a free version. As mentioned, I'm a bit behind on the free version. So if you're concerned or whatever about performance, or if you're on the right version, just wait like a short while, maybe till tomorrow, and then try the free version first. Make sure it runs well on your computer, because the last thing you want to do is spend some money and then be like, oh, this runs like a pig. The free version is essentially the same performance-wise. So if that doesn't run very well, the paid version won't run very well. If anything, the paid version, the pro version runs slower because it has more going on. So free version first, always. There's always a free version. Always try that. I always try and make the free versions really good, and it's the same this time around. It'll be really good. It won't have all of this stuff, but it'll have like the tilt shift, not tilt shift, the DVE, the pitch and the yaw, and it's got the shortcut buttons. It hasn't got the multi thing because that's quite a unique thing. It doesn't have the saver, but it has the motion blur. It's got loads of cool stuff. Pigs do run pretty fast, actually. That is a fair point. Runs like a hippo, because hippos are fast. When you install the new version, no, just literally double click, my friend. Double click on the DRFX, the right one, whether you're on the free version of Resolve or the studio version, and it'll override. Last but not least, well, technically not last. I really like these as well. So the other folder, the last folder in there, is something called the Saver Tools. Now, I really like these. And again, this is kind of really driving home that principle of I want you guys to make things. I want you to have the ability to make things for you so you can customize them. Right, so this is the zoom. Works exactly the same. We've got all of the same controls. We punch in, we punch out, we do all that sort of stuff. We go to effects and it looks a little bit different. But I can go like enable an ellipse and then put a border on it. I don't want it to be an animated mask, but I want this to grow. So then we get this cool little grow around effect. And let's give it, let's go a bit sort of yellowy. Maybe not the alpha down a bit. And we'll do a blur. Maybe give the background a little bit of color maybe. Because, I don't know, we're working with a brand. Or I just like using that color, whatever. I don't know. I'm just tinkering now. So now you've got this thing and it's completely kind of yours essentially, or you've customized it much more than this to make it look your own. If we go to save, this looks a bit different. And again, this works on the edit page, which is really cool. Again, can crash. But generally, so far today, it's been really good. And I've tried this on Mac, Windows, different PCs, everything else. So you've got this button here called Delete Unused Effects. So I've enabled the inner color, and blur, right? So if we go save, delete unused, it's deleted the dent, the inner brightness, the inner prism, the other brightness, the mosaic, the radial, the prism, the telly. So all the things you weren't using. And then I can just go like red BG. I can give this a new folder. Let's go 6. Live stream. Save. Completed. You may need to restart Resolve. I think it is going to make me restart Resolve this time. It is. So we'll do that real quick. Tum-ti-tum. I've seen a question, so bear with me. I'll come back to that in a minute. So now we're in here. We can just delete our clip. If we go to Effects, Magic Toolkit, MagicZoom, we now have a new folder, number 6, Live Stream. So we've made our new folder. I've got red BG, and I drop it on there, and it's ready to go. So it looks the same as the Saver tool, but it'll run really well. Because if we go to Effects, what's happened is we no longer have blur, we no longer have the telly, we no longer have the inner dent or whatever. We only have the things which were currently enabled when we actually made a little template. So basically what it's done is it's cleaned up the UI, so we haven't got stuff that we're not using, and in the background it's actually deleted the nodes that weren't there, so it runs nice. Whee! Really quite good actually. And this is broken on mine, and I don't know why, and it's not specific to my tool. I've just, because like no software seems to work. The browse button, it works on every other PC and everything else I've got, but for some reason my browse button's broke. But if you hit browse, I literally don't know, because it doesn't work in my Notepad app, nothing, it won't work, don't know why. Anyway, it will take you to the folder where they're all saved. So then if you go, oh, actually I want these on a different computer, I can just move this .setting file to a different PC. You need to make sure you put it in the right place. I've made videos about that in the past. Or if you don't actually want it, you've made a mistake, you can just go, yeah, I don't want them anymore. I'll delete them. And I'll get rid of them from the effects library. Or you can back them up, throw them on a OneDrive. So if your installation gets messed up, you can always get it back. And that is the saver tools. So there's a regular one, there's a double one, there's an inner tract, a pan, a pop out, regular tract, and a triple. So again, exactly the same, all of the same controls, but we can come in and go, yeah, this is a mosaic square, because that's what everyone wants. Actually looks quite cool. Save, get rid of all the stuff. Mosaic, save, work that time. So temperamental, thank you. Mosaic, there it is, boom. Hit play. Happy days, triple with our mosaic effect on there. That's what I've been working on. It's very similar to what it was, but I've tried to just make it kind of better everywhere. So performance is better, the UI is better, the calculations are cleaner, so if it goes wrong, I can fix it. Rather than me sitting there going, I can't remember how I made this. So I can hopefully fix things. And the saver tool's better. The zoom is better because it's now, you can turn it off and it works really well. I made a list, actually. It is available at the minute, MrAlexTech.com, and you should be able to get it from there. What else have we got? I made a list here. Saver tool now works, the quick navigation buttons, the reworked all the effects tools have been removed, the motion blur. Oh yeah, borders. I forgot to mention that. It's a really small thing. I can't really show you it, but previously just toggling on a border would really slow it down. I was getting, you know, like teen levels, mid-teens of FPS, no matter what I did. And it's just due to the way that I was running them. This method I'm using to create my border is technically, it's not worse. Worse is the wrong word. It's less advanced, shall we say. It's a really simple method that I'm using to create this border. But that means that it just runs faster. And it does work. Something else I forgot to show you. I told you this was unplanned. If we go to pop out, the pop outy thing, in the effects there's a polygon. And what you have to do, you get the two things. You get this little marker. You have to put this kind of roughly on the thing you want to pop out. So I want to pop those bunch of trees out there. And I want them to appear over there on the left. And then you can draw, because this has a custom masking thing on it. And then those trees will appear wherever you want them to. And the border works on there, and we can put grow on it, so it will bloop and grow like that. You could smooth it out, do what you want. We still have the effects, something like that. Whee! There you go. Again, that's the bit that goes a bit janky if you don't do it in a very particular way, but it does, you know, it works. So there you go. That's what I've been working on. As I say, I'll try and get the free version up as soon as I can, either tonight or it'll be kind of early tomorrow. And then that'll be available to download. And this was mostly for those people that have already kind of purchased it. You can download this now. It's all available on the website. You can go jump in and over you go. Hello, Darren. I need to reply to you. I've been a bit head down trying to get this out. So I apologize. I need to WhatsApp my friend Darren back because he did message me the other day. Someone says something about Microsoft. I just say, I mean, I'm going to put more. I say this every time, so I don't want to say anything, because then if I say it and let you down, I've let you all down. But I would like to do more live streams. I'm trying to do more of everything. For those that are here, I've got some other news for you. I haven't signed on the dotted line, but I'm hopefully getting an office. Oh yeah. So I will potentially no longer be in this room in a few months. I haven't signed on the lease yet, so we're still waiting for that. But in principle, it's all been agreed. So, that'd be exciting. So I'll have a cool office. I can live stream from there. Yeah. Saucy Hooligan. First of all, what a great name. Hello, Saucy Hooligan. Love that. Use one of my plugins for your first video. Worked wonders. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do like the vibe of this room, Kadek. It's cool. But I will be transferring this vibe to my new place if I get it, when I get it. Did someone say, I keep making that noise. I apologize for anyone wearing headphones. Thanks, Pat's Pot Page, saying I do nice tutorials. Thank you. What I will also say while we're talking, all of this stuff and more will be coming to Magic Animate. So we've learnt loads. We've really improved this for MagicZoom. So I wanted to get MagicZoom out, and now I'll start working on Magic Animate because Magic Animate is quite old now. I haven't really touched it for a while. It's one of those, it's been working. People have been enjoying it. People have been happy with it. So it's not like it's broke and I've been ignoring it, which is good. At least I hope not. But it needs some improvements. There's way more things we can do with it. I've got some really cool ideas. We can do a lot of the improvements from MagicZoom. We can drag them over. I've got a really busy March, so I'm going to try and dip in. One of my big issues is, for anyone that knows me and has been following my YouTube for a long time, I'm very singular. I focus on one task at a time. And if something comes along which isn't that task, nope. Not getting done. So I kind of need to focus on some of my other things because I need to work on some videos. And then we're off to NAB at the end of March in Vegas, which will be fun. But obviously, yeah. So I just need to try. I'll try and get Magic Animate done kind of throughout March. But it might take longer. It's a long process, especially for one dude trying to run all the other things as well. But there you go. Is there an easy way to repeat a music track across an entire video? Have it repeat until the end? No. You have to kind of do it manually and line up the music. Lots of people are asking Blackmagic to do similar to what Adobe have done in Premiere Pro, which is like an AI tool which literally does it for you. I would like to see that as well. That will, of course, only be in the Pro version, the Studio version. So there you go. Happy Path. Hello. How you doing? I recorded a bit of a vlog the other day, and I mentioned you in it because I wanted to say hello, and I haven't edited it or finished it yet. It might be terrible, so it might not see the light of day. So I apologise, but you're here, so hey, how you doing? Paul Travels, thanks for supporting the community. You're more than welcome. It's one of those back and forth, isn't it? Like, I'm only here, you're only here because I'm here, and I'm only here because you're here, you know. So I appreciate you all very, very much. Any regrets leaving your IT job? No. None whatsoever. It'd be nice to hang around people a bit more, spend a lot of time on my own, but generally speaking, no, not at all. It's great. It was a quick answer, wasn't it, Kenneth? No. No, hell's no. Right, let me quickly show you the one last thing. If I can remember where it is. Don't look at my very messy folder structure. Oh, yeah. So as mentioned, the presets are going to be packaged separately. So if I run this all presets, in the minute I've just got one called all presets. I'm going to spend more time on each of the individual categories, make thumbnails, make them look more official rather than like an afterthought. And then you can pick and choose. For now, because there's not that many, you just get all of them. But we've got blurs, highlights, movements, pop-outs, and tutorial. So we've got like an ellipse faded mono. So we just get this nice little ellipse in the middle, a rounded simple blur, a square inner, a blur inner, and an inner rounded. Then we've got like a little pop-out thing, a soft pop-out, square movement. So that Preview might not like it because it's got tilt shift on it. So we've got all these different movement things. Highlights, just real simple shapes. And then blurs. So they're included. You can just literally install them if you want them. If you don't want to use, if you want some presets rather than just the main tools, and then you can mess around with them. Anything that's on there you can customize. So like if you didn't want the border, you can get rid of the border or the dent or the radial, or you can change it to a rectangle. And if you want to, you could then resave it back in after you've customized it as well. So they're all there ready to go. As mentioned, they're included. I think there's about 20, 25-ish in there. So I will improve that there for you to have a play with. Feedback is great on them. If you've made some and you think they're really cool, or there's things that you'd like to see, just let me know, because that's always appreciated as well. Because it's sometimes hard to know exactly what you want, which is kind of why I like to give you the tools to make them yourself. But if I'm making presets, I kind of need to know what you'd like as well. The only last thing I need to mention, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, was if you're on the free version of DaVinci Resolve, you don't get this tilt effect, because this tilt effect is a studio-only feature. And I've been meaning to remake a separate version, which again I might try and do sooner rather than later, so we can get a kind of similar effect for those using the free version. And it would also save me the hassle of having to delete it, because I really like it. It looks really nice. So it's really smooth now. This works really well. Bloop. So yeah. There you go. What a waste. Chris Richardson, I have to install both. Yes. So if you just want the main tools, install the MagicZoom Pro. And if you want the presets, install the presets. That also means that like I can pester you with new presets without you having to install the entire thing again. Although technically it's the same, you're just installing a DRFX. But you've got the choice. If you're not bothered, you can just ignore me, or you can install them and then pick and choose. Pat's pop page. What's the difference between the free and paid versions? The free version, it's just a simple zoom tool essentially. The free version is pretty good. It's, as I say, the version on the website at the minute is outdated. I need to update it, so that will be done soon. Probably, as I say, either this evening or tomorrow. If you just want to do some simple punch-ins and punch-outs with motion blur, then the free version is plenty. If you want to start making your own effects and you want to do be able to punch into loads of different places all seamlessly across a big timeline, like you make tutorials like I do, or you want all of the fancy effects, then the paid version probably starts to make more sense. But I recommend everyone starts with the free version. Try it. If it's enough, then don't bother buying the paid version. That's why there's a free version. There's no limits on it. You can send it to your friends. You can do what you like with it within reason. I don't like anything behind, in the background. So if you want to go and read how it works, I know many people have done that, because someone literally tagged me in a video the other day, which was like a replication of one of my tools. But anyway, but yeah, if people are learning, I might not be the best. So therefore, some of my coding in the back is not the best. But, if it gets you somewhere, give it a go. Would it be possible to program easy to use rulers for the viewers? No. Because they're hard baked in. So I don't even think you can get access to that sort of thing via the API, I wouldn't imagine, because that's usually external. So no, which is annoying. The paid version buys Alex a slice of avocado toast. That is true. That is true. What? Sourdough. Bought myself some sourdough the other day. It was lovely. What about a bundle with both Magic Animate and MagicZoom? So when I started doing this, whenever it was, the whole idea was, you'll notice it's called the Magic Toolkit. The idea was I was going to make a bunch of different things, and then it would be all wrapped up for a discounted price in the Magic Toolkit. But I never wanted to charge for that ahead of time, because things weren't ready. And I've had loads of random stuff going on, some good, some bad, some YouTube related, others not. And yeah, it's just trying to get them made. I will maybe do... The other thing is as well, I never want to punish people for buying early, which I'm terrible at marketing. Because everyone else is like, buy now, and then you do a discount later, but then you're punishing the people that buy early. And you want the people to buy it now. Yeah, this just seems backwards to me. But anyway. Yeah, I don't know. It's just funny because Saucy Hooligans just said, the only creator that generally wants to help without a load of waffle. Yeah, I tried to in my videos and then the live streams happen. And the live stream is 90% waffle. There you go. Can I eat a waffle and edit? I can. I do like waffles. Waffle stream. I was talking to Becky, actually, my wife, about doing a podcast. Because I do a podcast with Casey. For those that don't know, me and Casey have got a podcast. It's called the Resolve Creators Podcast. We talk about all sorts, YouTube-y stuff, personal life, the trials and tribulations of being a YouTuber, all these strange things. It's kind of fun because us British don't talk about things Americans do. So Casey's like, let's talk about what makes me sad. And I'm like, oh, I don't talk about these things. So it's kind of fun. I get to do different things. And yeah. So anyway, Resolve Creators Podcast, give it a listen. But I was saying about if I was to do a solo one, I'd probably just call it like an Englishman waffles or creator waffles or Alex waffles or something like that. I think that'd be cool. Thank you, Zerafial. Zerafial. Try that. Parents should be proud. Thank you. That's very kind. What is spicy? What have I made? Spicy ice cream. I love the fact we've got spicy ice cream and Saucy Hooligan. Resolve waffles. It's good. I like that. Stealing it. Can I crack an egg with one hand? I've never tried. I don't know. Only one way to find out, I guess. Live vlogs. Yeah, I know. I would have. One thing, I will say, I don't know if Darren's still there. I don't know. Me and Darren are spending some time together at some point soon. That sounds weirder than I intended. Me and Darren are hanging out. So we'll try and do some vlogs. Because that'll be fun. Hey, Becky's here. Wifey. Say hello. I still use your Ultimate Whip Zoom pack from years ago. Yeah, I know, Joe. Choice words. Yeah, I started remaking. Honestly, I've been really... Yes, anamorphic vlogs. Yeah, it's all ready to go. Literally was rebuilding it the other day. So I can just film nice stuff. Because I love it. Pointless. Just looks nice. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I'm on the wrong computer, so I can't show you. Remaking some transitions. They're going to... when I finish them, they're going to be out at some point. And I made another tool. I don't even know where it is. I need to finish that and get that updated. Me and Casey started another website called ResolveShare.com. Now, there's not much on there at the minute, but have a look. Jump over to ResolveShare and you'll get a rough idea of what it is, if you've not heard me talk about it before. Excuse me. Someone's asked about the camera and lens. I'll come back to that in a minute. Thank you, Camera Tim. ResolveShare.com. So this is a website where you can... So we will release things. So I've put like a Mr. Beast title pack on there, which you can get for free. So you can just check it out and then you've got it. Casey's put some stuff on there. We've got an Easy Effects, which is kind of... It's like a a simpler version of Magic Animate. So if you want to check that out, check that out. The $5 will go to Sleeveless Studios, and it's something where we will put things up there, but if you have good things, if you make your own product, you can put them on there and we will try and help you sell them. I'm behind. The backlog at the minute is me, so I'm going to admit that now, because I need to, there's a bit of a process of when things come in, we need loads of detail. So it's not like a self-serve, you don't just log in and list things. You have to get in touch with us and we'll make you an account, and then we'll make sure that the thing you're listing is kind of good, and then we'll put it on there. So it's a bit kind of labor intensive, or at least it will be to get going. But the idea is there's loads of other people I know that want to make cool things, so we can list them. There is a commission. We take like a bit of a cut off the top to make sure the website, we can pay for the website and all that sort of thing, and then the rest of the money goes directly to you. There you go. Hey, Sleeveless there. Hello, that's yours. Yeah, I will. As mentioned, I haven't been promoting Resolve Share because I want to get some more stuff on there. I want to put some more of my own things on there. I want to get a nice collection, and then we'll do a big hoo-ha about it. But I'm so behind with that. So, Sleeveless, if you've been waiting on me, I apologise. I know it's live, but I also need to... The whole point is me and Casey can be like, look at this thing, and we can get eyes on things, which we haven't been doing too much yet. But we will. We will. Do you teach how to make them? I've thought about that. I thought about maybe doing a... Why don't we do a Resolve Share YouTube channel? Because that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Where we'd just go full nerd on all like the back end stuff, which not a lot of people talk about, and try and teach people more about how to make this sort of thing. But the only issue is that's more for me to take on. But it would be cool because some of those tutorials wouldn't necessarily fit on my channel, so I could do them on Resolve Share. It feels like a good idea. Zarafiel, how do I buy the upgrade? You don't need to buy it. Literally go to, if you've already got MagicZoom Pro, just go to the website. You should have had an email, and there wasn't a link on the email. I'll send you an email. I'll send everyone an email. But if you go to MrAlexTech.com, you should have a login. You can log in, and then you can see your purchases from there. And the new version will be on here, version 1.4, and there'll be a zip at the bottom, and you can just download it and go. Or you can literally go to the website, which I can't copy and paste because I'm on the wrong computer. It's MrAlexTech.com/view/downloads/MagicZoom Pro. Because that just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Easy way, log in, products, and you'll see it on there. Someone asked camera lens, so I get to nerd out. Hang on. Before I do that, do people like these? I start with a subject and then it just becomes a hangout. And I think that's kind of the point of lives, right? This is the point of lives, to chat. Anyway. Yeah. So this is, try and get it shut. This is my Lumix S5 Mark II with a Sirui 50mm T2.9 anamorphic. And then we've also got, lens cap's not on, the 100mm T2.9. I'm currently filming on an S5 Mark II. And then my little vloggy one here, this is the Lumix S9, which I actually really like. It got slated, but for what I do, it's really good. And that's got a 16-35 on it. But they have also just announced, literally today, the Lumix S1R Mark II. I like cameras. So, yeah. I have the old Sirui 50mm, but only used it once. Got scared. That's fair. I really like them. I'm not like a lens guy. But I like cameras, I like lenses, but I'm not one of these super crazy pixel people, and I'm not worried about the like, oh, it's too clinical or it's too sharp, because you can do a lot of that in Fusion if you really want to. Not Fusion, sorry, Resolve on the color page. So for me, I think they're great. And shooting them on the Lumix, you get the proper aspect ratio. You can de-squeeze it. I'd like to make a video about anamorphic in Resolve, mainly so I get to talk about the cameras and stuff, but then a bit of a tutorial as well, because that would be fun. What someone have I asked? Someone asked, sorry. Someone asked which I prefer system-wise. I'm weird. I've got a Mac Mini in front of me. I'm using a Windows laptop. I'm using an Asus. I forgot what it's called. ProArt, one of the new ProArt Diddy ones. I've got the live streams being captured on a PC, or sorry, being run on a PC. The PC I'm going to talk about, actually. So, on the back of my Mac Mini stuff and some of the laptop videos I did in the past, I get tons of emails from random manufacturers being like, we make a mini PC. Do you want to have this mini PC? Talk about this mini PC. And generally I say no, because they're not up to slack. They're not, they're not up to the standard. They're good for what they are. They're just not very good for heavy video stuff because they don't have dedicated GPUs, all this sort of thing. And then a company called B-Link got in touch with me, and I'm going to make a video about this. This is like soon. This is one of the ones I'd like to do, ASAP. They got in touch about a teeny little PC. Let me find a good picture of it, because I can't show you on screen. That thing, tiny little PC. It was actually way cheaper. It's the old one. It's like $500 worth of PC, and I was like, not that interesting. And then they were like, it comes with a dock. And it has a full PCIe, this is for the nerds out there, PCIe sort of slot on the back. So you just plunk it into the dock, and then you can put your GPU straight in. So now I've got this mini PC, which you can kind of take off, and it's a mini PC, and you can do what you want with it. But when you want my 4080, which is what it's running on at the minute, I just slot it in. And all of the demo, that's what it was running on. It's actually quite cool. I don't necessarily know, again, video, but I don't necessarily know the benefit. Like, you could just buy, because the PC is 500 and then your GPU is like, what, 800? You could probably build like a mini case PC for that. One benefit is that you can take your GPU out and you can put anything else in there. It's just a PCIe. So you can slot, I've put a capture card in there if you were doing, I can't remember what they're called, the Blackmagic stuff that runs on PCIe. So you can literally just lob your graphics card out anytime, put something else in. If you wanted to just take your PC with you for whatever reason, because you just need to go plug it in the office, at work, or whatever, like a laptop without a screen, you just take the mini PC, throw it in a bag and take it with you. It's quite cool. And it's really quiet. The fan isn't spinning at all now. I guess it's because the GPU is just outside, so it doesn't really kick in all that much. How come you're not verified? I don't know. Is that in the chat, do you mean? Because I can't tag people. I've always been confused. I can't tag people in my own chat. Never figured out why. Someone asked whose ND filters. That was Frank asked. I use KNF Concept. They're not like elite level, but they're pretty good. It's kind of they do like a budget range, which are quite cheap, and then they do a slightly more expensive range, which aren't that cheap. And they do have a bit of a color cast on them and this, that, and the other. But they're not as expensive as like the super fancy 300 quid ND filters. They're like 60, 70, 80 quid for quite good, if not perfect. And I'm happy with that. They're for big ones as well, by the way. Dustin, I was talking about it earlier. I've just been talking about the camera. Yeah, tempted. So for those that don't know, Dustin Armstrong in the channel, in the chat, pop your link on there, mate. Pop your YouTube. Dustin is a great YouTuber. Talks a lot about Lumix cameras and filmmaking. He's a really talented editor. Does some really cool stuff. So definitely go check out Dustin. And he's just made a video about that S1R Mark II I talked about, which I need to watch, but I saw his big handsome face on a thumbnail earlier. So I need to give that a watch. But yeah, give me, I think your comments are limited, aren't they, character-wise? So give me your mini review in the comments, Dustin. In as many, if you can fit it in the 200 characters you can get or whatever. Alex, have you ever used another editing program like Premiere? No, I've never used Premiere. I haven't really. I started off using smaller stuff like Filmora and that sort of thing. And I have dabbled in Final Cut, but I've never really jumped into Premiere Pro. I should do, really, so I can evaluate things and be less biased. But it takes a whole lot of effort, doesn't it? Here's a question for you, Caddick. Have you ever seen us both in the same room? Basically Batman. Mini review. It's an incredible hybrid camera that leans more towards photography pros, but still very capable. I figured S1R. I bet you couldn't tell me if the S1H is coming soon, could you, Mr. Justin? Best camera under 1,000 for live streaming. No wrong answers, just suggestions. Oh, don't know. Buy used is my suggestion. Probably an old Sony. Maybe you get an old, say, you probably get an A7C if you like that full framey, blurry backgroundy look like this. Some of the old Lumixes are good. I'll let everyone else give suggestions in the chat. Ooh, what was that? Justin said, not the S1H, but maybe something video pros will like. Just a guess. Do I need to remove the old version? You do not. Just install over the top. They should have the same names. So it'll just say, do you want to overwrite? You click yes and off you go. Someone's asked about this live stream. Yes. There's a couple of questions. Let me ask that one, and then there's a question about Dustin. I hear you, Dustin. Dustin said nothing. Sorry, losing my train of thought. What was that? Yeah, this is all set up through OBS. So I've got like a tiny little dirt cheap. I'm doing the two computer method. You don't really need to do that, but I just wanted to set it up this way. PC is coming into the laptop via just like a little USB video thing. It was like 10 quid off Amazon. Only just 1080p, but it's perfect for this sort of thing. And then I'm actually my camera is going into a Blackmagic Video Assist, which is kind of overkill, but they added a webcam feature to the Video Assist as well, so I can record in like Blackmagic Raw, ProRes for this talking head sections if I want to, while also running it through OBS for live streams, which is quite cool actually. It's quite a nice little thing. Someone asked real quickly about. I understand there's a new version of MagicZoom. Yes, so just install over the existing one, Martin. So if you've got the Pro version, log in, download, double click the version you need, and that's it. Easy as that. Someone said, "Oh, tech, Scottish, some Scotland." Blackmagic approached you regarding your Zoom stuff. No, they haven't. Never. Well, I've spoken to them about it. Just kind of, I make these things, look at them, and they've gone, "Oh yeah, that's it." That's it. I can't. It's one of those. Like, I'd feel really bad if they bought, or if they. I mean, if they bought it, I would feel bad, less bad. But I mean, anytime they could just make it. I make MagicZoom because the functionality doesn't exist within DaVinci Resolve, right? It's one of those things like, here's a problem I have. I'm going to make a thing to fix it because I figured lots of other people have the same problem. Side note, if you're ever trying to make YouTube videos, if you're ever trying to sell a product, if you're ever trying to do kind of anything in the online space, do that. Problem, fix for problem. Yeah, simple, I know. And it's sometimes hard to come up with the problem that everyone has. But yeah, but that's all it was. It's like, I want to be able to do these things in DaVinci Resolve. The automated version doesn't exist. I'll make one. Photo Sapiens Ben. Hey, thank you for being awesome. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate you. Thank you. My name is attached to it. I am forever Magic Tools Man. Don't you think that without generative AI will fall? No, it's a good question. I don't think generative AI in the video space is going to be as big as a lot of people worry about. Well, it might be, I don't know. But I just don't know if we need it built into the editor. I'm stuck in the middle. On one hand, I really like looking at it and going, wow, that's impressive. And I've seen some genuinely, like, really impressive things. I saw a short video that someone was suggesting, like, a clothing company could use, because it was like a woman walking and she was wearing certain things. And it's like, yeah, that's nearly impossible on a social media ad to tell the difference. So they could just knock it up really quick. That's worrying, because that'll cost people jobs and all sorts of things. Like a feature-length film, or even a short film with emotion and with kind of characters. I just don't think AI's anywhere near that yet. But the speed it's going is incredible. But I'd hate to lose the humanity. Oh, that sounds a bit deep, doesn't it? But you'd hate to lose all the kind of the human side of filmmaking and making videos and all this sort of thing. So I don't know. I don't know where I stand with it. Hey, Dr. Hans. Long time. How are you? Oh, giveaways. I said I was going to give them away, didn't I? Oops. I did put giveaway, didn't I? Alex, you're very saucy. You're the saucy hooligan. Yeah, why I order. Thank you, Stephen. That's very kind of you. I've been giving away my brilliance. Yeah, if that's one word for it. Yeah, I'm with Camera Tim on that regard. AI is really useful, and I like the implementation where it makes your life easier and allows the people to do more of the creative things. One of the best sayings I heard was really simple, but it's like, an artist, for example, shouldn't get their AI to do the painting. They should get their AI to do their tax return so they can do more painting. It's like us as editors, people doing videos, we want to spend more time doing the fun things. And if we can use AI to get rid of the boring, repetitive kind of man hours that go into it, that's just a good thing. But it does feel like a lot of the AI stuff is aimed to take away the creative thing, which is weird. Which is actually why I like the way Blackmagic are going with Resolve. It's like Magic Mask or voice isolation, and it's just cleaning things up. It's not like, we'll cut this together for you and we'll edit it so it looks cool. It's like, no, I want to do that bit. You do all the other stuff. I don't have an Ari to give away or an Ursa 12k. I apologize. I don't have anything. Darren's got a great video on his channel about when someone stole his voice. It's also funny reading the comments because obviously people call me Al. In real life, I'm Al to a lot of people. And AI written down looks like Al. So I naturally read it as Al. So I look like camera Tim. Darren has a dark past with Al. I'm like, do we? Apparently. I was going to say something. Oh, okay. Well, how many people are here? Still quite a few, actually. So thank you all for hanging around for my waffle. I've got an idea, and I haven't talked about this publicly yet, so I'm going to be very, what's the word? Short on details, shall we say. So one of the things that I like to do is I explain the software. I explain DaVinci Resolve kind of from a technical background point of view. It's like, here's how to do things. I don't necessarily tell you why to do things because I don't want to go above my station. I don't have a huge amount of experience as a working editor doing these sorts of things. So I don't always feel it's my place to be like, here's how you do, here's why you're doing this thing. Certain things I've got experience with, I'm fine with, but I'm not going to say here's how to cut together a movie because I haven't got no experience with that. But I want to gain that experience. And I've started thinking about a cool idea to gain real life experience editing real projects. And I also thought it could be a really cool thing to do with other people. So I've got this idea for, it would have to be paid. This wouldn't be free. It'd be like a paid membership. But we use a good chunk of the money that comes in to fund projects or to hire a videographer to go out and shoot something, and then we get the footage. So there could be like 100 of us and we all get the footage, and then we get like a real life brief because it's shot for a real company by a real videographer. It's just that they're not out of pocket because we've funded it. So there's no deadlines. We can enforce deadlines. We can have some fun with it. Be like, this needs to be done in a week, whatever. But people have jobs. So, can't necessarily do that. And yeah, and then we get real life experience and you're all doing it at the same time. So it could be a bunch of people in a community and you can be like, I'm stuck. What should I do next? And other people can answer. And then I can be there to, here's what I've learned. And maybe we could get Darren in to be like, here's how I would grade it. And I've got connections now with a bunch of people that could teach, not just us, not just me, but, us, all of us. With this group. And I think that'd be a really cool idea. So I'm interested to know people's thoughts. The biggest downside is it couldn't be free, obviously. And it couldn't be the cheapest thing in the world either. But we have Blackmagic Cloud as well. So the infrastructure is kind of there. But even that it cost lots of money. Yes, yeah. So we'll be sorting out licensing issues as to who owns what. All the original license would stay with the videographer. It's just that maybe someone would want to use it in a show reel. But that's another thing. People would actually be able to build up a show reel with real footage. We're almost crowdfunding projects that we get to edit. It feels like everyone wins. But cost is the major stumbling block, which is why you need people. You either go, it's really small, 50 people, but it costs like £100 a month, which is really expensive. Or you go, okay, we'll try and do more people and then limit the costs, but then it's more people to manage and the cost of like storage and bandwidth and stuff goes up. Logistically, it's a faff. But I think it's a really cool idea. So it's the other thing, one of the other things I've been working on. To the point where I've spoken to some people and I've put money aside to hire some people to do some stuff. But I'm also slightly scared to be like, there's thousands of pounds, and then one of you signs up for it. I'm like, oh no. But to be honest, I might just have to take that risk because I think it'd be cool. Seems like it could be a huge time sink. It absolutely would. I'd need help managing it. He is good, ain't he, Darren? We like Darren. We need a good speed ramp plugin. Yeah, I know. Camera Tim's been looking at that. It's tricky. I know Tim's been looking at it. The trickiest thing, how can I explain this without doing it? The trickiest thing with the speed ramping in Fusion is if you increase the speed of a clip, the clip obviously gets shorter. The edit page doesn't know the clip's got shorter in Fusion, is the simplest way. So the timeline doesn't do that. If you adjust the speed of a clip on the edit page, the clip does that. It shrinks and it pulls everything along with it. If you do that in Fusion, it doesn't. So if your clip is this long and you speed it up by 200%, the clip becomes this long, you end up with this much dead space on your timeline. And it's just a Fusion thing that's blank. So that's the trickiest thing. I did have a look and then I got sidetracked. So I'll pick it back up again, Tim. It was very heavy. I remember that. I remember trying to run it. It was quite heavy. But yeah, I'll jump back into it and have another look. No ripple delete. No. Not when you've got a clip that you're dealing with. Excuse me, Fusion. Fusion. Just saying words now. Oh, you actually have a solve. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could time. You could warp it, maybe. I don't know. Why in DaVinci Resolve, when I export, it plays syncs, but once uploaded to YouTube, it's out of sync? I don't know. Any suggestions, anyone? There shouldn't be any reason why it's out of sync on YouTube if the file's fine. That would be strange. Also, while we're here, triple jazz. No, literally that was just mentioning, if you edit a comp and make it shorter, it doesn't get shorter back on the main timeline. Yeah, it's kind of part of the issue. You have to shrink it yourself. You have to move the clip back because it doesn't know. The edit page doesn't know the clip's got shorter if you've done it on Fusion. We'll have to jump on a call or something again, Tim. Pop me a message or whatever. That'd be good. slow-mo waffle video clip. I'll be up for that. I put on the thing that I was going to, that this included, did I put this included giveaways? I think I did, didn't I? Yeah. I'm going to ask you guys, because I should have announced this at the beginning and I didn't. Anyone object to me giving away some MagicZooms? I'm asking because some of you may have bought it and then you'd be annoyed because you didn't know there was a giveaway. Also, I did look at the new Sigma camera. That looks very cool. What if I said yes? You don't count, Tim. Don't know why. You just don't. No. All right, I've got an idea. I've got an idea. Amount 100%. Choose product. You can't see this? No, good. MagicZoom Pro. I'm gonna do 3 of them. 1 of them. Three of them. Right, I've just made a coupon code which gives you 100% off MagicZoom Pro, the full pack, and there's 3 of them. So I'm going to hit enter in a sec and you'll see the code in the chat and I'll also read it out. I don't even know where to put coupons in the website. I think it's at checkout. So go. Be fast, all capitals. We'll do some more afterwards. I'll wait for those to go because I don't want to do loads and then one person take them all. Be fast, all capitals. On the website, like in the checkout. Hey, Tim Gorman. How you doing? Sitting in Canada with a pint following along. That sounds good. I could do with a beer. Haven't got any. Do I always stand up when I film? I do. Always stand up when I film. Weirdly, oh, they've gone already. Wow. Well, you were quick. You were quick. Who got them? Uses 3. Wow. All right, let's do some more. Do a couple more. It's not going to be fast. We're going to do something else. Good guess. No, this one is... I'll come back to that, the standing conversation in a minute. Ready? Tuesday Fun Day. All one word. Tuesday Fun Day. Hey, you got one, Mr. Beatbox. Congratulations. You've got to put that in the website, Gabriel. You should have your own brand of beer. I should. So the question. Yes, I always stand. I prefer talking to the camera. I'm not a particularly animated guy. I'm kind of like a chilled guy. And you kind of have to project and to do all this whole thing. And I struggle sitting down. I can stand up and project a bit more and be a bit more YouTube-y when I stand up. And it just kind of keeps me engaged. I I have these horrible trainers, which are house trainers. They do go outside every now and again when I go to the bins, which actually they shouldn't, but I forget to take them off. But generally they're pretty clean, so I wear them when I'm in here. But I have one of these. Hang on a minute. I have a rug to stand on. I stand on my own face. That was a Christmas gift from Asus, the laptop. I know some of the people that work at Asus, and they sent me a Christmas gift. And it's my own face and my name on a rug. Came all the way from Taiwan. It's very cool. Hey, Road Reality. You're welcome, mate. Very good tip. It's quite disconcerting because sometimes I stand and then I'll sit down and like as I just peer down to like, you know, the gap between you and the desk, there's just like this weird me face staring back at me. And which plugin did the coupon code work? Just let me do a link. I'll do one more. I think that's right. So there it is. That's the link. That'll just take you to the product. We'll do one more. I'm stuck at verifying your email. Oh, we'll give it a minute if anyone's struggling. Oh, give it another go, Catalin, and then we'll do it in a second. You're reading the README, the what's changed. I think there's stuff in there I haven't mentioned, but that's the general gist. How to do stuff. If Magic Animate is enough, so you can do zooms within Magic Animate. The MagicZoom was kind of like a dedicated tool that just does the extra bit. If, as I say with all of my stuff, if Magic Animate is kind of the general one, does a bit of everything. So if it's working, it's working. Maybe try the free version, see if you like the dedicated interface of MagicZoom. Try tomorrow when I've released the new free version, and then decide. But if Magic Animate works, sweet. Oh, invalid code. Yeah, there was only a few of them. Right, ready for the next one. Last one. There's 3 of these as well. Yeah, it's a couple per code. And they're going really quick. Y'all are quick. Right, there's the link to the product, and the code is There you go. It's the last one. Alex loves waffles. Fair enough, Tim. Is there such a function to zoom in and then change the location? Yeah. That's in the paid version. One thing I've done with the free version, which again you'll see, I've put the ability to keyframe the pivot in. So if those wanted to keyframe it, they can. You keep being called. Sorry, Frank. I don't know. I should laugh. Oh, I did forget you, Chris. I'll do that in a minute. Thank you for the reminder. It's because I've been making the new one, so I'll send you this new one. I'll tell you what, actually, I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, and I'll email that to you shortly, Chris, after this. Oh, I've obviously increased the traffic a bit, and it's... Sorry, folks. Oh, yeah, definitely doesn't. We broke the internet. Can you give me some advice on purchasing a new laptop? Whoa. Firstly, congratulations to everyone that won. And purchasing a new laptop, it depends how much you've got to spend, really. Budget is a big thing. Obviously, everything's really expensive nowadays. I remember when a good laptop was £600-700, now it's £2,000. There you go. Thank you, Catalin. Appreciate you. I really like the Asus Pro Arts are really good. It's a shame they're 60 hertz refresh. That's disappointing. You can't really go wrong with MacBooks if you get a used sort of MacBook Pro M2. They are really annoyingly quite good. I've got one of those as well. Yeah. I mean, the benefit is they're all quite good. Now, if you go for like a current generation or previous generation, either AMD or Intel CPU, they're good. They've got much more efficient if you go for some of the latest stuff, any sort of laptop GPU. It's kind of hard to recommend specifics because they're quite samey. But yeah, any of the big players, I recommend. I know some people have had issue with Asus in terms of their warranties. I've never had to return anything, so I can't comment on it, but all of that gear has always been good. What else have I got? Most of mine are Asus, actually. I haven't used anyone other than them from a Windows point of view for a while. If you only do like low-level 1080p cutting vlogs together, the Snapdragon stuff are good. They just really struggle when you go much above that. But if you want to cut together something in 1080p, like a Surface Pro will actually do you now, as long as you go for the Surface X Elite. I've got one of them. Need to make a video on that. Just get on YouTube and watch loads of reviews, to be honest with you. Yeah, I've heard there's lots of issues with 50 series GPUs. I've heard the full-size 5090 has been melting itself, which is always fun. Hey, 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 Art Monkey. Welcome, welcome. Nah, I should do it anyway, Caddick. Linus. Yeah, I've seen Linus. Linus hasn't been impressed with anything. Mind you, I don't think Linus has been impressed with NVIDIA for like 10 years. What other ideas have you got for plugins? Good question. The thing I've wanted to make for a long time is a title plugin. I have this idea. And it works in theory, but getting most of my issue when I make these things is the UI. I want the UIs to be genuinely like different, like Magic Animate and MagicZoom. Like, not all of it, but you know, probably 60-70% of the work is just in the UI because I've never built interfaces, and it's tricky to be like, what's the best way of doing this, and how could this genuinely be interesting and different and good. And not just interesting and different for the sake of it, but like genuinely like, yeah, this is cool, this works, I like this. And I have an idea for text where you can basically build, the idea is very similar to all my other stuff. It's you build your text animations from scratch within a text node, not even a node, within the inspector. So you can right click and you can assign animations to all of the different things that you want and then adjust the timing like you would Magic Animate, but it's for all of the specific attributes within a text plus. So you could be like fade in at this point and do a twizzly here and have a follower that does this, this, and this. But it's getting the UI that works. So I've got it functioning. It's just how would I build it so that it's nice to use. Did I hear you correct that my Magic Animate spatial optic has asked? No. So there is an ability to do a zoom in within Magic Animate, but it's limited as to exactly what you can do. You can't do any of the effects, you can't do masking, you can't do like some of the DVE effects and this, that, and the other. So if all you want is what's already there, fine. If you want something a bit more specific for zooms, get the free version of MagicZoom. And if you want all the bangs and whistles and fancy stuff, MagicZoom Pro. For me, personally, obviously I'm biased, I made it. But for me, this multi thing is worth the purchase kind of thing for me, because it's, you know, massive amounts of my job. It's just cutting things together and zooming into specific points. So. Have you started to debug using the likes of GPT? Yeah, I actually helped GPT. ChatGPT helped me with MagicZoom a ton, honestly. I've got chats open, I dump things in and go, this isn't quite right. ChatGPT is mega when you've written something and it won't work. And you're like, there's a paragraph and I'm missing a comma or I'm missing a parenthesis. And you just go, where's the thing I messed up? And it goes, there it is. And you're like, oh, and it saves hours. Someone's asked, how close is a Mac Mini and a PC with a good 3090? Difficult question to answer in short, but the Mac Mini, the reason the Mac Mini feels good and feels more powerful than it actually is on paper is because Apple have put loads of work and effort into the media engine. Essentially, specifically the decoder. So when you jump into DaVinci Resolve on a Mac, you can throw 8K stupid footage at it and it just goes, yeah, cool. I'll read that without any issues. So the timeline performance feels really snappy and really nice, even throwing silly footage at it. When you start to do GPU heavy stuff, especially... what am I thinking of? or AI based stuff. What do they call it? The NPU. Like my 4080 is way quicker than the Mac Mini, because that's just horsepower. Then it's just grunt. But if you're just cutting things together, it's really quite nice. Like, I've been using it for my day-to-day stuff because it's always on. It doesn't make any noise. It's really nice. And then if I need to do any heavier things, I'll jump onto the PC with the GPU. Obviously, I'm fortunate. I'm in that position where I can. Not everyone can. So there you go. If you do a lot of like noise reduction or heavy fusion, like loads and loads of heavy color stuff, then a big PC probably makes more sense, especially if you're doing lots of noise reduction, because that is just pure graphical power. But if you're just cutting things up on the timeline, it kind of swings the other way. And you go, actually, the Mac Mini is really quite good for that. It cuts things up effortlessly. Like some of the footage, it will cut up smoother than my 4080 because the media engine on the 4080 isn't that great. So there you go. A good example is like ProRes. With my video assist, I record in ProRes. ProRes isn't GPU accelerated on my NVIDIA GPU, whereas it is on the Mac Mini. So even the base model Mac Mini feels nicer on the timeline, just cutting up ProRes footage, than like a big 4080 PC does, just because it's hardware accelerated. I think QuickSync does ProRes. So if you use Intel, you could. I don't know. I'd have to double check though. Have I got my hands on a 50? No, I have not. 4080. 4080. It works. Does the job. Hey. No. Still going. Why? No, still on. I'm coming off in a few though. What's up?
Nothing.
Yeah, I'll come down and see you anyway.
That's okay.
Becky thinking, why haven't I finished yet? Out there indoors, eh? Waffle time. Magic Animate, will there be an update? Yes, I just need to get it done. So a lot of the stuff I've done for MagicZoom, hopefully people will try it. People will inevitably give me feedback, good or bad. Please do, let me know. And yeah, we'll try and implement a lot of that stuff over into Magic Animate. Yeah, Puget is a really good. Puget Systems. Is it just Puget.com? Puget Systems, Google them. Some of their testing is really good. Very true, Saucy. The overwhelming testosterone waffle chat. Have you tested this on a Mac Mini M4? And yeah, so I've been, 80% of the development for MagicZoom has been on the M4 Mac Mini Pro. M4 Pro, I still hate the naming structure. Oh, mind you, it's not as bad as AMD's at the moment. But yeah. Yeah, it works good, actually. To be fair, I didn't notice the time. I didn't realise it was 9. Hey, Equinan, how you doing? No worries. Thank you, Saucy Hooligan. Take it easy. Great name. Ah, thank you very much. You best, Frank. Yeah, I think I might have to go do the same. But, yeah, let's do more lives. I'll try and schedule some in. I definitely want to go live. I'm going to NAB next month, start of April. So I'd love to do a live stream from Vegas. That'd be really cool. So from NAB. So we'll try and do that. But maybe we'll get another one or two in before then as well. Yes, Darren, we'll have a chat. We'll have a catch up. Cheers, Chris. I've got your code. I'll send it you in a minute. Thank you, Mr. Beatbox. Enjoy. Yeah, let me if you find anything, any weirdness, let me know. Someone says something about NAB. I'm on sick leave. When is NAB? NAB is the 5th. I think it starts on the 5th of April until like the 10th. In Las Vegas. Oh, do you get better quality with a 4K timeline and 4K render or a 1080p timeline than render with 4K? I don't think it upscales. Does it? Someone might be outside. I don't know. I'd have to test. I think it will jump up. I've always had the habit, if I've edited on a 1080p timeline, I want to render in 4K, I will just knock the resolution up to 4K before I render. But I think Resolve will probably do that for you. So in theory, it shouldn't make a difference. I'll pop over. Happy place. And I'll check it out. And yeah, vlogs. We'll try. Try and make some fancy looking ones just for... Because that'll keep me amused then. Yeah, I mean, I generally... Nowadays, I just rely, if I need to, I'll use the proxy workflow. Not the actual proxy, sorry. The timeline playback resolution. I call it proxies because that's what it used to be called. And people keep telling me off because it's not. Just use that. So if you're on a 4K timeline and you're struggling for whatever reason, knock it down to half. I made a video once upon a time about knocking it down to 1080p, which is what I did for a long time. This should, in theory, do exactly the same thing. So unless you see any oddities, some people have complained about like text doing weird things when you change the timeline playback resolution. Just use that. But if you do see any oddities, knock the res down. You can always just knock it back up at the end. Yeah, thank you for those. I don't know. It seems to be the census that it won't jump up, so you need to put your timeline resolution up, which makes sense. Right, folks, thank you ever so much for tagging along. Thank you for listening to me waffle and ramble. And I hope those that have just downloaded the update enjoy it. And I hope those that are new to MagicZoom also enjoy it as well. So thank you all very, very much. Thank you all for the continued support and whatever else as well. I always appreciate you all. Thank you to Caddick and Camera Tim, who completely involuntarily became my moderators. So thank you. And yeah, take it easy, folks. We'll be back with more videos very soon. See ya. In a minute, when I can remember where the stop button is. There. Bye.